Hey guys, it's David Jackson Jr., your peak perseverance coach. It's been a while since I've talked to you, and as most of you know, in fact all of you should know by now, we're in the middle of a global crisis. We're being besieged by the coronavirus, or COVID-19 as it's commonly known. So I don't know what you're doing right now, whether you're out searching for hand sanitizer, gloves, or a mask, anything to help you stave off the effects of this deadly and unknown virus. What I'm going to talk about today is how we work to manage the situation that we're in and how we can all try to work through this crisis. Now, I want to be clear in saying that nothing that I say today should be construed as medical advice or anything other than my personal opinions. So I would ask all of you to listen to what the relevant authorities are saying and to focus on the things that they're saying are important during this time. Washing your hands, social distancing, and many other strategies that have become part of the new normal. But what I would like to talk with you about today is the number one symptom of the coronavirus epidemic, or pandemic as it's commonly known. And that symptom is fear. Because irrespective of whether you're having shortness of breath, a nagging cough, or any of the other physical things that people talk about, almost everyone universally is being gripped by a feeling of fear. And that's something that we've got to cope with. Now, don't get me wrong. COVID-19 or the coronavirus is real. It's deadly for some. It can have devastating impacts. It certainly had a tremendous impact on the global economy. It's changed how we socialize, how we interact with each other, and it's bred a whole new series of quote-unquote new normals that we're being caused to live with. And I realize that these things are very frightening and they're very scary, but what it represents is something that's as central to the human condition as anything that we experience, and that's change. So what we have to do during this time is to manage the change brought about by the coronavirus scare. Now, while people are out looking for the aforementioned sanitizer, gloves, and mask, what I would suggest to you is the most important thing for you to look for and for me to look for is a mirror. Why is a mirror important? Because that's what we've got to look at to begin a true, honest, and revealing look about what really scares us about this virus. And what scares us when we look in the mirror is the lack of control that we feel. The thought that we aren't in charge of our own destiny, that there's something that's larger than we are that's dictating our actions. When you look at that fear, what you're really looking at is one of several things. Your unfulfilled dreams, your unmet expectations, a lack of honesty in either your personal or professional lives, and the worst of all, missed opportunities. Because what scares us about the coronavirus is the fact that we might become infected, we might get sick, someone we care about might get sick, but ultimately that we could conceivably die and not be here anymore. For most of us, luckily, that's not going to be the case. However, we have to deal with the rash of emotions that this is causing. Now, I don't know how much of a statistics person you are, but if I were to say to you that one team had a score of 200,000 and another one had a score of 17, who would you say is the winner? Clearly, it would be the team that had 200,000. Well, the good news that I'm going to deliver to you today is that Wikipedia has said that humankind, as we know ourselves to be, have been on the earth for about 200,000 years. The coronavirus, which is part of the SARS family, has been on the earth for 17 years. So I say that to say, your odds of survival if you're watching this are pretty darn strong because you're on a very, very powerful team. You're on the human team that has survived 200,000 years of change, be it dinosaurs, ice ages, volcanoes. Man has an amazing ability to adapt to both his environment and his circumstances. So that's the good news. But in the midst of this, in a time where many of us are suffering from what in many respects can be considered irrational fears, what does that make us do? And again, I come back to the fact that it makes you look in the mirror. And when you look in the mirror, you need to see this time as a teachable moment. We hear about teachable moments all the time. Those circumstances that we can't control, that thrust things upon us, that we adapt and respond to. So when we look at the coronavirus as a teachable moment, when we look at what the fears are that are looking back at us from the mirror, whether it's those unfulfilled dreams, unmet expectations, the lack of honesty in our relationships, or missed opportunities, those are the things that are really scaring us and causing uncertainty during these volatile times. So what can we do in response to that? Well, again, since it's highly likely that most of you watching this today are going to survive the coronavirus, then I would say that it's time to take a real, unvarnished look at your life, what it's about, and what you're doing. What does that mean? Number one, it means get real about what you want. Stop hiding behind the expectations of other people, societal expectations, things that have been thrust upon you that you really don't believe in, and get real about what you want. That's one of the first things that I would say for you to do. The second thing is, once you get real about what you want, then you go after that with passion. You go after it like there's no tomorrow, because tomorrow isn't guaranteed. It shouldn't take a coronavirus to let you understand that. You have got to live today. You have got to live purposely and passionately today. That's something that's within your control to do, and that's something that you can and should do. The next step is be specific about what you want and have a specific plan for getting it. Make an action plan. Don't live in a world of, oh, I'll do this next week, next year, next month. None of that is promised to you. And again, that's part of the uncertainty that something like this virus brings out, is that in any given day, your entire life circumstance can change. Again, you don't need a virus to know that that's the case. Be purposeful, be passionate, get up, go out, and do what you're going to do. Now, do it with a sense of social distancing, of course, but do it nonetheless. One of the other things that's important is, as you go about realizing the things that are important to you, use benchmarks. Know how close you're getting to what you're trying to do. In this coronavirus fight, when I look at the news and when I see the media, what do the scientists, the politicians, and everybody say? They talk about it in terms of tangible steps that are being made and tangible steps that are being taken to manage this virus. And I would say that you should do the same thing about your goals and aspirations. Look for tangible steps and benchmarks to let you know you're on the right path, you're heading in the right direction. And a part of what will allow you to do that is to build a network of accountability around you. A network of people that let you know, hey, you're on the right track, you've identified what your dreams are, you've met your goals, keep going in that direction. Let them shift, let your goals be dynamic. That's very, very important. And if you do all of those things, what I would suggest to you next is you live your life with a sense of unbridled urgency. Urgently go about what you're doing. Don't wait. Don't look at it as if you've got all the time in the world. I think that the coronavirus has crystallized for us that time is precious. It's something to be cherished, and it's also something to be used wisely. Again, it shouldn't take a virus for you to understand that. It shouldn't take a virus for you to know that. Live your life with a sense of urgency. It'll help you get to your goals, and it'll take your mind off of the coronavirus. Because inevitably, the coronavirus is going to pass. And as I said, you shouldn't need a virus to make you and to prompt you to change. But what a virus can do, what a global pandemic like the coronavirus can do, is crystallize your thought process, help you to begin to look at things in a different way, and most importantly, to look within yourselves. Look at you. Look at what you want to do. Again, what do they talk about all the time with this virus? They talk about social distancing. They talk about being in small spaces or in small, easily controlled groups. And after all, that's what you should be doing as you chart your plan for success anyway. You should spend time with yourself, knowing yourself, analyzing your strengths, analyzing your weaknesses, and as I said, getting real about what you really want to do and how you want to do it. So in that sense, this can be a blessing. The time that you spend around people who know you best, who know you most intimately, and the time that you spend with yourself, this can be a real catalyst and launching pad for what you want to do next. So that's something that you should think about, and that's one of the ways that you can change the narrative on what this is and make it suit you. My hope is that wherever you are, whether you're in Hanoi, whether you're in Los Angeles, whether you're in Buenos Aires, that you'll get through this situation safely, that your loved ones will be safe, that your goals, while some of them may be deferred, will still be realized, and hopefully a new pandemic can stem from this one. And the type of pandemic that I'm talking about is a pandemic of success, where this coronavirus is a catalyst that makes many people change and makes many people aspire to more in their lives. That motivates someone that always wanted to be a chemist but never thought that they had a chance to now take the initiative to double down, work harder, and get to where they should be. There's always opportunity in challenge. There is always opportunity in challenge. And while me, you, no one can control what the ultimate effect of the coronavirus will be, there is one thing that we are entirely in control of, and that is our response to it. So don't respond out of fear. Respond out of action. Make this a catalyst for change. Use this difficulty as a time to create new opportunity in your life. Look inward. Don't look outward. My hope today is that all of you will be smart, that all of you will be safe, and we will continue to encounter each other on the road to success. Thanks, guys.